Ladies and gentlemen, he's flexing. He's getting ready. It's Chris Egan from King 5. He's brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza, 3 locations in Sumner, Puyallup, South Hill, home of the original No Big Dill Pickle Pizza. Book one of their 3 food trucks for catering, birthday parties, graduations, and corporate events. Find Fat Zach's Pizza on Facebook and Instagram, fatzachspizza.com. I'm told they're doing a Thanksgiving turkey pizza at Fat Zach's. Would you eat that? Would you eat a turkey-themed pizza?
Puck, I would eat anything. We were actually having this conversation last night. My in-laws, the Fairs, are they always do 2 turkeys. They're 30 plus at their Thanksgiving dinner, and I mentioned we've never done the turkey, the duck turkey chicken. I don't know what's that called again.
Turduncan.
Turduncan. And I thought about bringing that, and I got shot down on that one. So
I'm telling you, Fat Zach's. Look at this great website. I'm telling you, if you go online ordering, they got locations there, and maybe they've got a special on there. The turkey pizza. Look at
turkey pizza. Have you ever had turkey on your pizza before, Puck?
I have not. I don't know if that would work, but I would try it. So the sauce would be gravy. Right?
Yeah, and you'd have to have a little mashed potatoes and stuffing on there.
So what else would you put on it? Clearly, you're going to put turkey on it.
Here's what I do. And
what's the cheese? Like this
This is why, Puck, if you listen to this show, you become a millionaire because you just take your and I's idea and you run with it. I've already got it. Here's what you're going to do. Turkey pizza. You're going to go a layer, your dough. Then you're going to just put on a bunch of mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, and then you're going to throw in some turkey, and then you're going to put on another layer of dough, and boom. No cheese needed. It's just mashed potatoes.
It's not a pizza without cheese, Chris.
Well, I mean, you got mashed potato. Well, you can put some cheese. Yeah, I mean, you can sprinkle a little. Nobody doesn't mind cheese. So, you can throw a little cheese, little bacon bits in there. Let's just be anyone listening right now or watching right now. Let me be very clear on this, okay? Because I was at a dinner table last night, and you get a couple of the moms, they start drinking their Pinot Grigio, and they're on their Instagram and their TikTok, and they start thinking about, why don't I try a Brussels sprout, cabbage-based mashed potato?
Just keep it simple.
Let's make it really easy. You take a potato. You put a ton of mayonnaise and butter, and you bring it all together as one. That's it.
Wait. Time out.
Yeah.
Well, I've never heard that before. You put butter. Obviously, you mix mayonnaise in.
You can put a little mayo in there too, Puck. Yeah.
Okay. Is that an Egan family recipe? Is this something I've never heard of? This
the Fair family does that. It
they
makes
put
an
mayonnaise
extra cream.
in. Okay.
Little extra creamy. I think even a little, maybe sometimes a little milk in there. I'm not positive on that, but
for sure.
I mean, it makes it creamy, but. Mayonnaise. When you start talking about people trying to start doing the cabbage based or the substitute the baked potato and the butter, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. It's
just all of it. I earlier with Jim, I installed Thanksgiving as a 5.5 point favorite over Christmas. Which way would you go?
You know what, Puck? I love Thanksgiving, but I am just to me, Christmas is an easy one. I mean, It's an easy number one.
You would install Christmas as the 5.5 point favorite, or maybe more.
Even more. I would give him a 21 point favorite. For me, there is nothing better than waking up on Christmas morning and going and checking out the stockings, and then the gifts under the tree, and then a big old dinner that night, and then there's appetizers all day long. I mean, there's desserts everywhere. I mean, it's Christmas to me. I love Christmas Eve service at Mountain View Lutheran Church, and the candlelight and Silent Night, Holy Night. I mean, I just get goosebumps thinking about it right now.
Nick is really right. I mean, why do the tree is already up in your house? It's not even Thanksgiving yet. What are we doing?
Nick,
come on, man.
Nick and Puckett, I agree with both of you. If you're watching, you can see there is a tree behind me. It's lit We have another tree upstairs I was just decorating before jumping onto this podcast. And I'm going to make it very simple to you both. All right. The wife wants it up. The wife gets it up. That's that's happy wife. Happy. The wife loves her holidays. She loves their traditions, and once Thanksgiving's over, she likes to roll right into Christmas. And you know what? If the wife wants it, the wife gets it. So that's what I'm saying, Puck.
Hey, Nick also wants to know. He's on the chat. He wants to know, what do you think of it? You know, Jim's going to be a mall Santa.
I think that is scary. I don't recommend that. I don't want any. I mean, think of a little kid for the first time meeting Santa, and it's Jim Moore.
I think actually he'd be a really good Santa.
Well, what's he going to be talking to kids about betting slips?
Yeah, he's going to ask him. He's like, "Hey, all right, so we got we're going to do a 3-team parlay, Mikey, 3-team parlay.
Yeah.
What do you think? Let's look at the Christmas Day games." He's going to lean over to him and be like, "All right, we got one of the games on. Do we have games on Christmas this year? Don't we? Yeah."
Yeah, we actually 2 games I think on Christmas this year.
Yeah, we do. He's going to ask him, Chiefs, Steelers, who do you like? Ravens, Texans, what do you got?
And here's what worries me about that scenario, Puck. You know this is going to happen. He's going to be on the east side, which sure there's a spattering.
No, he's down in Bend. He's doing this in Oregon.
Oh, he's doing this in Oregon, and I'm all there.
Yeah.
Well, here's what's going to happen then. I can tell you right now. He's going to be in Bend, and this Oregon Duck family is going to come in with all their Oregon Duck gear. And the kid is going to be like the biggest Duck fan. You know, my dad was friends with Joey Harrington. My dad was Achilles Smith's backup, whatever. But he's going to be sitting on, Santa's lap, and Jim's going to, what'd you like? I just want Oregon Duck gear. And Jim's going to get mad. He
doesn't dislike the Ducks. His wife's a Duck.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean, he's a Coug, and Cougs in the end hate the Huskies and dislike the Ducks. So
he's not as much as you Husky fans like yourself dislike the Ducks.
All right, okay. Yeah. It's like the Lutes and the Loggers. But maybe there'll be a Husky fan that sneaks in there, and something could go wrong, and the next thing you know, we see Jim on the news that night, and we don't want that. We need to protect Jim more.
Beating up some poor kid.
Breaking news: Alan Schaffler joins us with the details from Bend, Oregon.
Alan Schaffler. Is Schaffler still down there?
He is down in Bend. And Puck, I'm going to say this: a transition. We had 2 days ago a memorial service for Tony Ventrella, and it was pretty cool. You and I love the history, but to hear some of these stories come out and how many people Tony Ventrella touched through the years and just inspired through the years. I mean, Colin Cowherd was on there, and he basically said, I grew up watching Tony Ventrella. Tony Ventrella inspired me to go out of the box and be who I want to be. Kenny Mayne from ESPN was on there and talked about growing up watching Tony Ventrella. It was really special to hear, and it was a great day. And Lou Gellos was on there, talking about using typewriters back in the day, and so it was a great tribute to a great man. And
did
Tony
you
Ventrella.
MC it?
No, Tony's son Peter did. I was one of the speakers. It went myself, and then Steve Rabel, and I will share Steve Rabel's story because it's quick. And it's great. And Steve Rabel, a lot of people were talking about how Tony helped them. And Steve Rabel said this was probably one of the most positive individuals I've ever been around. And they were on a plane ride. They traveled when Tony got out. Tony basically went Como, then King 5 for 12 years, kind of where he made a big name for himself. Then he went Cairo. Then he actually went Q13 and had a morning show. And then Tony ended up his career with the Seahawks organization as kind of their digital reporter.
It was the first one.
Yeah, so Tony traveled with the Seahawks, and Steve Rabel shared a story where they were on a plane ride home on a nice plane, and he said the pilot got on there and says, hey, everybody, big Seahawks win. Congratulations, we're right on time. We got 2 great engines taking us into Seattle tonight, so enjoy the ride, and we're excited for the journey. And then all of a sudden, apparently, some noise happened, and they didn't know what it was, and the captain got on there. Well, we've lost one of those great engines, everybody, on our plane. But, hey, we've got 2 good engines. I mean, we have one left now, but The only bad news is we've lost that engine, so we're going to be delayed about an hour now. So originally we were going to be getting in at 10 p.m. Now we're getting in at 11 p.m. So our apologies regarding that engine going out. But we do have one engine left. I guess everybody on the plane was pretty quiet and pretty nervous. And Steve said he was just sitting there, and all of a sudden Tony taps on him and goes, "Steve, have you thought about this?" And he's like, "What?" "What?" Tony goes, "If we lose that second engine, we're going to be up here all night long." And that was just the positivity of Tony Ventrella. If they lost that second engine, they were going to be delayed for a long time.
Yeah, he was one of the best, man. He just was. He was he was just a terrific person, just a terrific broadcaster, and he was. Right, and it's cool to hear Colin Cowherd say that, because he did it differently, right?
Yeah.
He wasn't Bruce King.
Yeah.
He wasn't Wayne Cody. He was just completely different in himself, and it worked, and it was great. And I think the difference between all three of them was awesome. Bruce was the consummate professional, and where that's what a broadcaster should be. Wayne was pretty sure he was a bookie on the side and taking bets, but then doing sports too,
and having some fun parties along the way.
Having fun parties and just smoking and drinking, and but he was your uncle, right? He's your uncle that's not married, and he's the life of the party. And then Tony was just kind of the goofy guy down the block, and it was fun. That was the heyday of Seattle sports television. Now we're stuck with what we have now, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I know.
I got you and whatever you do, Nico thinking he's a podcaster now, and Levine wearing, too tight of suits, and he's been like doing CrossFit. It's not the same.
Yeah, I know. It's a different way. And somebody did say it best. They said when Tony was around, our sportscasters came in all different shapes and sizes, and referring to the great Wayne Cody and Tony.
He was a large man.
Yeah, he was. So good day there. It was a good week as well, Puck. I was able to head over to Seattle University and hang out with the baseball team. Head coach Johnny Harrell. Great story there. I'm talking about Tarek Skubal, who won the Cy Young Award, the pitcher for the Detroit Tigers. But Seattle University was the only university to offer Tarek Skubal, only Division I school to offer him a scholarship. Came to Seattle University, pretty good kid out of Arizona, California area, pitching in the 80s. And Donnie said this is a kid, a lot of D1 schools obviously didn't offer him a scholarship, but probably would have, let him go on to another team, because he was only in the 80s. And sometimes these coaches get so stuck on, you got to be 6'3" and throwing in the 90s.
But I love what the coach said about him. Did you hear the assistant coach that offered him the scholarship?
Remind me on that one? Was this Elliot Kribbe?
I don't recall the name, but he ended up being the pitching coach, and he said that when he watched him at a college tournament in Peoria, and he saw the kid throw, and he's like, he's pretty good, and he's not throwing that hard, but he looked at him, he goes, he was kind of fat, chubby kid. But he goes, I could see that he had broad shoulders, and he goes, I know in like 2 years that fat's all it's all gonna disappear, and he's gonna grow up. He's gonna be a big kid.
Yeah.
And then he started talking to all the coaches from around the area, and they just all said the same thing. They just said he is a winner. He just wins. He devours competition, devours winning. And that coach for Seattle U was sold on the spot. Said, all right, we'll give you a chance.
And so give credit to Seattle U for developing this young man. And this young man got to Seattle U and had Tommy John surgery. They stuck with him, and then he came back and pitched a great year for him. I think it was in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
And then gets drafted. And then, you know what? Here we are. He's winning a Cy Young Award and was absolutely amazing this year.
On his birthday, right?
On his 28th birthday. He won the Triple Crown this year. That's lowest ERA. I think most wins, most strikeouts. Correct me if I'm wrong there on that one. But good kid. And I also love, as a parent of a son that pitched for the Edmonton Riverhawks, sometimes people forget this. Tarek Skubal also played in that that West Coast Baseball League, and he played for the Port Angeles Lefties, I believe, was the name of the team. So there are many people out there in the PA, that watch this kid, just playing in summer league college ball, and it's cool to see him develop into what he's done. And that also is a reminder to all the coaches and parents out there. It's your job to help develop these kids, not only for now, but for the future. And and they saw it, though. I mean, give credit to Elliot Cribby, who saw that, and they advanced it.
All right, we're in the quarterfinals. Look at this.
Okay.
This is a 4A bracket. Quarterfinals. Yeah. Look at it. Lake Stevens trying to win. Is Lake Stevens trying to win for the third straight year?
Third straight year for Tommy Try.
Lake Stevens and Chiawana, Skyview and Sumner, Gonzaga Prep, Kennedy Catholic, Arlington, Camas. Who do you like coming out of that? What do you think the semifinals are going to be?
Interesting here, Puck. We've gone through a bomb storm which shut down power across the state. Hope everybody is getting their power back on and able to listen to Puck Sports. Podcast, the number one podcast in the world right now.
Number one.
So Lake Stevens, I think, has had some issues up there with just electricity. I hope Tom Try has got everybody safe and ready to go. I love that team. They have playoff experience. I said it when we did our original podcast with John and Todd that I thought this was probably the year Sumner makes a run. So I think Coach Ross and the Sumner Spartans have a shot. But give credit to Arlington. They knocked off GK, a good team. So from the west side, from my personal King 5 standpoint, I'm hoping for a Kennedy Catholic, Arlington advancing, and Lake Stevens and Sumner. But Camas and Chiawana are really good right now, Puck. So I don't know. I'm sticking with Sumner though. That was my original take, and I'm gonna keep with them until they're knocked out.
Okay. What about what's the 3A level? Let me give you the 3A breakdown. Now.
I think in the 3A, you can't. I mean, obviously, I've mentioned this before. Bellevue, I've watched them twice. They have a gigantic offensive and defensive line in high school football. That helps you win games. They're very strong with their offense. They know how to run it. But O'Day has some playmakers. O'Day has a lot of playmakers, and they have a head coach, Coach Goller, who's been doing this for longer than anyone. He knows how to win in the playoffs. So my gut is a Bellevue O'Day final there. So that's what I'm going with. I mean, Roosevelt is loaded with talent. Eastside Catholic is loaded with talent, but I think we're looking at a Bellevue O'Day final.
Yeah. A lot of Metro there in the 3A. All right. Yeah. Well, it's fun. It's winding down. Where are you guys? Is this the last show tonight?
This will be the last. There's only three Friday games tonight. Kennedy Catholic is hosting one.
Okay.
O'Day is hosting Mount Tahoma, who I watched last week knock off Decatur.
I loved your interview with the coach.
Great. Yeah. I mean, here's a coach that just said, you know what, we're going to do our best to turn this thing around. And he's doing it at Mount Tahoma now in the quarterfinals for a second straight year for them.
Seems like a great guy. Great coach.
Coach Terry, and they'll have their hands full with O'Day. But I will be Puck tonight. And this will be our final. This is the final Friday because next week is the semifinals and it's all on Saturday. I will be at Franklin Pierce Stadium, home of the Cardinals. They've only been in the state semifinals, if you know your history, 1982 and I believe 2013 when they lost to Jake Heaps and the Skyline Spartans. They are undefeated right now. The Cardinals, the SPSL 2A champions. They run the Wing T, and tonight they will be facing off against WF West, who has only lost one game this year, and that's the number one team in the state, Tumwater. So they're saying this is going to be a battle like no other tonight. WF West has a great quarterback. That's going to be at Franklin Pierce Stadium. And the thing I love about this, Puck, is that 4 minutes away from Franklin Pierce Stadium is a little place called the 2121. And in my mind, I've been around the great state of Washington. There is no better chicken and JoJo combo than the 21-21.
21 bar, is that what it is?
Yeah. So the kids can't join me there, unfortunately. But I'm going to stop off there before the big game, and they're just going to. It's going to be. You order 2 pieces of chicken, and it comes with 4 Joes. It will feed you throughout the weekend.
Oh yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
1966. This place has been going.
Oh, Oh, look at that place. I mean, it's just a great little place. I'll roll in there with my yellow jacket. I'll get a bunch of looks, and then they'll look at me. It's like walking into an old Wild West bar, and I'm not still supposed to be there. And everybody stares at you, and then 2 minutes later, they're back to their normal thing.
What do you got? Chicken and Joe's for $20. You ever get the gizzards and Joe's?
I have got the gizzards. I'm not going to lie to you. They're Puck, and I'm trying to get my father-in-law to join me there because he was the one that originally told me to try this place out, and it's just, man. I mean, but you got to get a bunch of dipping sauce for your Joe's because they're almost like they cut a potato in half, and that's what you get.
Oh, and they got little Smokies too. God, I like a good little Smokies. That's a hell of an appetizer when you get those. Got beers on. Like, look at this place. It's great. What kind of cocktail do you get there? You don't drink beer, so
no, I'm not gonna. Well, I do have a beer, but
you don't drink before the games. Look at here we go. Look at this place. This is my type of place. Bar. They got pull tabs in there.
Yeah, pull tabs.
Yeah, they do in the back. They got pull tabs. Yeah, God.
Look at that. Pabst Blue.
Oh, this is my type of place.
Yeah, well, you got to come. You've never been there, huh?
No, I've never been to 21-21. This is now. Where is this at again?
Near Franklin Pierce, and I am not quite sure, honestly.
And
this is what bothers me right now as a Pacific Northwest historian. I'm not even quite sure what city that is. It's
I don't know.
I honestly, one time on the air, I said,
Parkland, or am I way off on that?
I said, I'm coming to you from the gateway to Spanaway. And I'm not, it's kind of like right in the middle of Parkland, Spanaway, Puyallup, Tacoma. And I know maybe somebody can jump on the text line and give me the exact city.
Any place that's got a good pull tab like that, got some darts back there. I mean, this is
serious dart throwing.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Look at that liquor. Yeah, Malibu rum. Why not? All right.
Yeah.
Good spot. 21-21.
Maybe one day you and I can celebrate down there. For that.
Yeah, and if anyone Midland, someone said it's in Midland.
Midland is the official.
Midland? I'll be honest, I've never heard of Midland.
Midland. No, I have heard of Midland. I mean, is that a town, a location, a city? Because
I have never heard of it. I don't know.
Okay,
you tell me.
Coming to you live tonight from Midland on the big game, the gateway to Spanaway.
Are you hosting Thanksgiving next week? What's the deal?
The wife and I rarely host. We will not be hosting. We go to my parents' house, so it's a two. We get the twofer. We get
you double up.
We go to the Egan house for kind of lunch, and then we go to the Fair house for dinner. Wife usually does a green bean casserole that she just loves to put together. And then usually we bring a couple pies. But I let the mother-in-law handle she's incredible when it comes to the turkey.
And you just sit back and do you just take a beer bong, but just put it like wine in it and just you throw it down?
You'll love this on the Fair side. They have a lot of Washington State Cougars. So one of the fairs, Brian Fair, will bring
some Bloodsoe wine.
The table is just filled with. And one year somebody had some passing time wine, which is David Hewart's wine on the table. Get that out of there.
We don't need that, Heward. Get it out. Get that swill out. No, passing time. Very good wine. That is an excellent wine as well. But come on, it's not Bloodsoe and Doubleback. God, if I ever mention Drew Bloodsoe around my wife, she starts to get like hot flashes. Oh. We met him. She met him one time. We were in Walla Walla, like in the buffet line at the hotel, and he's like, "Can I get you some coffee?" She's like, "Oh, yes." God, Jesus.
And he's just got great hair too. I don't know what type of conditioner he's using.
He's just great. He's tall, dark, and handsome. How many? Someone wants to know. This is a great recall. Aaron wants to know this question for you. What's the over-under? How many pieces of Tupperware your sister is going to bring with her to
Great,
take the leftovers?
great question.
Great recall, Aaron.
Aaron, I'm going to actually provide video and pictures for everybody on the Puck podcast.
Please do.
And I think she somehow got a hold of the podcast where we talked about this, but I
had a conversation.
No, we didn't have it, but I'm expecting the over under to be 7 to 8 pieces of Tupperware, which is great because my brother wants nothing. He never takes anything home. So somebody's got to help mom and dad. Somebody's got to help mom and dad.
Mike's got to keep his figure. So
hey, speaking of spots, Puck, the wife and I hosted a Seafood of Symphony event where a bunch of Alaskan fishermen came down and they were raising money for the Alaska Fisheries group. But the wife and I, great night. She had a little wine and wanted to go out in Seattle that night. We went to, and I hadn't been there for probably 20 years, 13 Coins.
Oh, but the new one.
Downtown by the stadium. Yeah,
not a bad joint.
I thought it was a great spot.
I miss the old one, but
that was down on Denny, right? The old one was on Denny,
right by Seattle, right where the Seattle Times used to be.
Yeah. So I was like, this is kind of a cool little spot to hang out.
Yeah, it's always good.
Try out.
13 Coins is great. All right, you have. We won't talk to you next week. The week off, we'll talk to you on the semifinals. That will be the night of the. Or no, excuse me. That will be the championship. That'll be the championship game.
We'll have 3 championships that Friday and 3 more on Saturday.
That's
so
right.
we'll have a lot to talk to. Who knows? I may be live at Husky Stadium.
I'll see you down there. I don't know which game I'm calling. I'm calling one of them. But.
You are okay. Well, I'll give you all the inside scoop on all these teams. It's going to be a fun run. A lot of good teams. So my best to all the kids, and then you got other state championships rolling on as well. Soccer and volleyball. So good luck to everybody. And basketball season is here, Puck.
Basketball season is here. All right. We'll talk to you in a couple of weeks. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Best to you and your family, Chris.
Hey, thanks, Puck. Happy Thanksgiving.
There he is, Chris Egan with us from King 5. Weekly visit brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza. I was kidding about the Thanksgiving pizza. They don't have that. 3 great locations, though. This is what they do have. In Sumner, Puyallup, also in South Hill. Home of the original No Big Dill pickle pizza. They got that. Book one of their 3 food trucks for catering, birthday parties, graduations, corporate events. Find Fat Zach's Pizza on Facebook, Instagram, and, of course, at fatzachspizza.com. You can follow Chris on X and Instagram at Chris Egan 5. Catch all of his work at king5.com. To catch up on the latest on that episode, it will be up on YouTube. You can find it there. When you are at YouTube, please like, subscribe, leave a comment, and also up on Apple, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. And, of course, always up at pucksports.com.